o que me proponho fazer aqui é, e dado que vários outros oradores falarão também de alguns temas, abordando de formas diferentes, é fazer um zoom-in da parte da abstração do que é Future Internet, começando talvez, e visto estarmos num ambiente de uma universidade e num ambiente académico associado à parte de competitividade, começando por uma abordagem, o que é tecnologia, o que são as direções, o que é o bit e o byte da tecnologia, saindo outra vez pensando como é que podemos aplicar esta tecnologia a um caso concreto, e vou-vos dar apenas um exemplo. Podíamos dar 20, 30 exemplos e, se quiserem depois particularmente falar qualquer exemplo dos que eu descrevo aqui, podemos fazer esse zoom-in nessa área. E nessa área tecnológica que vou fazer é a parte da aplicação às cidades do futuro. Porquê? Porque interessava-me mostrar como é que nós pegamos na evolução tecnológica, e vou-vos mostrar o que é que isso implica a nível de arquitetura de sistemas, evolução na arquitetura de sistemas, evolução de produtos, evolução de standards, evolução de tecnologia, como é que pegamos nisso tudo e transformamos numa oportunidade de mercado concreta. Constituindo parcerias que têm a ver com empresas grandes, que têm a ver com vendedores, com manufacturers, têm a ver com operadores de telecomunicações, têm a ver com pequenas e médias empresas, têm a ver com parcerias públicas com ministérios e agentes públicos e têm a ver com pequenas e médias empresas. É um exemplo. Eu vou-vos fazer vários flashes de várias coisas, pareceu-me útil como um contexto para a sessão dos 2 dias. Looking at the technology perspective, looking at future internet, at internet as a platform, as an infrastructure, it is evident to all of us the increasing number of hosts in terms of coverage that the network has in itself. Oh, sorry, how the hell does this? However, there is something that is much more important for the future than the actual expansion and growth of the infrastructure. That is, what are the changes in the life of citizens, what are the changes in the way we work, in the way we make business, that this technology application is driving. So if you think about things like, the fact that a user is not only now a consumer of information, but a very active producer of information, and that actually can generate value from an individual resource of information point of view. The other thing that we have to think as well is that the implication of mobile phones and mobile technologies is very, very profound, not only in keeping us in touch wherever we are, but especially in the way we develop our working relationships with companies and with each other. So all of this means that the transformation that the user expects when we apply this technology is much broader than simple connectivity. It's actually more intelligent services that improve the day-to-day interaction. Some examples that we cannot forget is everything that has to do with iPhone, right? iPhone maybe was the technology, the single technology application or product that had the greatest impact in the history of the internet in the last 10 years. If you look, for instance, at the number of users that actually have an iPhone, compared with the evolution of users of the web or other similar technology internet, it's kind of close to 500 times faster adoption rate than it was to any of the previous technology internet products. So it's a totally different pace of adoption. So what we understand now is that the internet has actually been a creativity platform, right? Open and free innovation really drives growth. So these are the key things, the key components for the success of future services and application: open and free innovation. So in terms of real concrete growth and what the network really looks like, the network also has become quite complex. When we look at the promises of the future internet in terms of technologies, so the first one is that it promises a simple access everywhere, right? So pervasiveness. The other component is high reliability. There are many things, users kind of expect to have internet connectivity wherever they go, and not only to be there, but to be at very high speed. So in terms of, we can look at this component in 2 ways. One, it's from an access point of view, and there we have all the importance of the mobile internet, wireless networks, hotspots, and so on. The other way of looking at this is the growth and the impact of this component in the internet core. This means that reliability of real high-speed optical networks is going to become critical, redundancy of the networks, and so on. So we're looking at not only the 5 nines, so 99.999% availability, but we are talking about 7 or 8 nines. So the network really must be there. It's kind of impossible to think that it will not be there at some point in time. The other thing is the scalability point of view. Not only it's growing in terms of speed and the presence, but always also in terms of scalability at very different levels. So here where we have all the concepts related to the Internet of Things, sensor networking and so on, we'll have a session this afternoon covering exactly this point. I'll also come back to the impact of this technology in the network. Many articles have been coming in the last weeks about the final introduction of IPv6 in the core of the Internet. You know, this is only one example of a potential application of IPv6 technology. Many others can be quoted. The underlying technologies, when you look at all these applications, have to do with these three vectors of things. First, mobility. Second, the interaction between fixed and mobile networks and how you actually give seamless access towards an infrastructure that can change from mobile to fixed to mobile to wired to wireless. So it's the seamless of this environment that will dictate if these technologies in these applications will be possible. Everything, whenever you read, an engineer sees the word smart in a marketing leaflet, you translate it to how you manage, control, and interact with the system. That's what smart means. Whenever every time we speak about technology, future Internet technology, we also speak about security. However, I'd like to stress that we are speaking about a different level of Internet security. We are not speaking about, preventing denial of service attacks. We are not speaking about preventing hacks, intrusion. We are speaking about a type of intelligent security that is built in within the infrastructure and that knows the user. So if you imagine the size of the infrastructure that we are looking at, if you imagine the diversities of applications, and if you think that you're going to be able to configure, control everything that is required from a security point of view for this infrastructure to be safe, you're totally lost, right? So the system has to be self-awareness in terms of security. Security has to be built in from the systems. And there are gazillions of applications, and Fraunhofer was mentioned earlier today. I'd like to invite some of you to have a look at, for instance, some of the intelligent firewalls that Fraunhofer is defining that know what the user profile is and can by that predict behavior in the network. So very smart and advanced things. The other area of promises is related with self-management, self-protection, right? So reduction of management costs, simplification for users at the end of the day, have it being autonomic, many directions come into the area of autonomic and self-aware networks. And the other thing is how we turn it more robust in terms of protection against unwanted traffic, overload, failures, and attack. It has to be kind of a cyber infrastructure component of the future Internet. We're not here to speak about how do we actually address technology challenges in each of the areas, being it from a network infrastructure point of view, being it from a virtualization or composition point of view, or from a cognitive point of view, or from addressing, routing, whatever, or even in upper layers of intelligent infrastructure in terms of content. We're not going to speak about these, right? If you want to speak about these, I can forward you to many other things. So what I'd like to speak to you about is this. How do we actually build an infrastructure, a network platform that at the end of the day migrates from the old Internet, the first Internet in terms of its composition with regards to data transport, messaging platform, a price performance component, and a vertically integrated architecture, and bring it to the next level where we actually provide a very rich experience for the user that is very rich in terms of media, sound, with immersive technologies most of the time. How do we move from a messaging platform to actually a collaboration platform that can impact the productivity of our daily lives and simplify it? Just a simple example.